And he is, well, by far the biggest.
It's official, the flat cap image is out, and those who study the game will tell you rising young stars like 22-year-old graduate Andy Cairns are definitely in. He's already got the trophy haul of a veteran, even if he did find combining student life and bowling a little bit tricky.
Well, it was quite a strain travelling up and down the motorway. It was like 3 or 4 or 5 times a week sometimes, trying to get to league games and competitions. It meant leaving them there at like 5 to get to a 7 o'clock, you know, starting. It was a big strain on me, big strain.
What did your friends think, Andy, when you were going off bowling? What did they make of this undergraduate bowler?
I thought it was a bit of a joke at first when I told them. And first week I turned up and I had to disappear after 2 days because I was playing over at Blackpool in a competition, and they thought I was joking. It was a bit of a joke game, and I showed them a video of me in the last 8 at Waterloo, and they were quietly impressed. I think they didn't really. They always asked how I went on when I got back anyway.
They could also have asked Andy's parents, Alan and Anita, who've monitored his progress closely since he started bowling 13 years ago. The headlines prove it. Those who play need no telling. Bowls has always been a game at which younger players excel.
It was David Bryant that said bowls is a young man's game that old people can play. I think that's the way you've really got to look at it. If you look at the Bass, there's not many people over the age of 55 playing. There's probably quite like 7 or 8 under the age of 30, I think. It's certainly getting younger.
And on the eve of the competition, Andy didn't seem at all worried about being this year's youngest contender. And should he add the biggest title of the lot to his collection, one thing's certain, he'll definitely enjoy it.
It'll be brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I'll be able to retire, I suppose.
Retire at the age of 22?
Yeah, it'd be great that. Wouldn't have to play another game, would I?
Well, there's Big Andy weighing in at about 18 stone. Just look at the size of him. 12 and a half is the foot measurement as well, so it was rather difficult to find some shoes for him this week. Certainly winning his battle against anorexia. Let's have a look at his opponent then, Robert Crawshaw. Got a pretty good record in the Bass Masters. Out of 10 games played, he's lost only 4. He was our champion in 1985. A bowls maker, 37 years of age, so he's got 15 years more experience than Andy. And Robert very determined this week, and that is reflected by the current score, which sees him leading by 8 chalks to 2. As we join our commentary team, Roy Armstrong and Hugh Johns.
Well, it's 10 chalks on the board in 8 ends. We're in the 9th now, so it's been fairly tightish. 1 for Andy Cairns. Now that's a good end to win, because that was a run of 5 chalks in a row for Robert Crawshaw, and he's managed to stop that little gallop. Needs to get himself back into the game now. Robert, this his 6th Bass Masters. That said, he's a former winner. Beat Brian Duncan in the final of 1985 over at the Woodlands at Ellesmere Port. Robert last year in this Bass went out in the quarterfinal to John Bancroft. He was a bit fortunate, I remember, in the 2nd round getting past Gary Smith, who had the winning of it with right at the end, but he failed with his last bowl, and Crawshaw went through 21-20 in the 2nd round to the quarterfinals. But he did not bowl this green at all well in his quarterfinal, Roy, did he?
No, he didn't, Hugh. I think it's fair to say that Robert Crawshaw was the player of the year in 95, he won 10 competitions, and he was hopeful that he would emulate that this year, but thus far he hasn't been able to do that. He hasn't played quite as well this year. I think he maybe devoted more time to his business, his bowls business down there in Stockport. But what a good lead from Andy Cairns. Round peg up the side of the green, about 29 yards, finger peg, bias towards the ditch. Very good lead.
It's going to be underneath from Crawshaw. This is the sort of mark that I remember Tony Poole making use of in so many tournaments, holding down the edge of the green. That's a couple of fair bowls from Big Andy. That's down underneath again.
Go again.
Gone. Got both of them wrong.
Cairns, 2.
Well, let's change the picture somewhat. Andy going back from whence he came, again with a curly mark. His thumb peg with the bias again towards the ditch. The slope of the green assists the bias, but the weight was a bit too heavy there.
Yes, I think this is not very far, Hugh. It's about 26 yards, so I don't think it's quite as far as what he intended to send the jack.
Crawshaw.
Marker Terry Ashcroft indicates that Crawshaw's on. That's over and through. Too heavy. 18 stone of bone and muscle propelling that little tiny object rather too strenuously. That'll count for 2.
Crawshaw, 2.
So a wasted opportunity for the Leeds University undergraduate. Robert on a mark now that I remember him playing very successfully last year. Got to push up over these last couple of yards because it's a bit slower there. That's a very good lead.
I think Andy will be aware of this, Hugh, because both these players are in the final day of the Talbot Championship, which takes place on this green. In other words, they've both won 6 rounds, so they've spent quite a bit of time on the green.
Well, it's Robert holding 1 and looking as though he's creeping in for 2.
And what we may see here is Andy Cairns' phenomenal striking power. I think, along with Paul Strutt, these two players are the hardest strikers in the game.
Well, we look for the signal.
A foot and 15 in. Okay.
Yep.
Watch your feet when it comes in.
Well, he's removed some of the woodwork, but leaves 1.
Crawshaw, 1.
Leaves 1 to count for Robert Crawshaw. There's a fair bit of power on that one, Roy.
Yeah, he certainly strikes hard, and he wanted to get the 2 together, but he'll be satisfied with that. He's cut the count down.
So, 11-7. Again, the thumb peg mark. Cut that one tight. Weight was good. That's a good road. Beauty. Giving that one a better chance. Just out. Now, Andrew, can you remember what you did with the first one? The road was right. Left the weight behind. And he's angry with himself. So 8-11 off the mat, Andrew Cairns. Probably heads back for the side of the green mark. Thumb peg, round peg mark. Bias towards the ditch, which will join up at the slope of the green now to bring the bowl down. Robert Crawshaw. Roy was saying earlier that last year was one of his best years. It was in fact last year that he qualified for the Bass, winning the Carlsberg Open, beating that very, very fine Yorkshire bowler, Alan Thompson. Wallop! Close. Yes. Well, well, well. That is a belter.
Yes, I think we have to warn the cameraman when Andy's about. Gets the jack right off the green, almost disappeared right into the camera lens.
Well, I was saying just now, there's 18 stone of bone and muscle propelling what? A little object weighing about 2 pound 12 ounces. He could be a fair shot putter, I think, this chap, if he turned his mind to it.
Yes, indeed. Coming back on his mark now, finger peg, 28 yards, round peg. I think he's a little bit overplayed this way.
Road looks right. All about weight now. Good enough to win it. Heavy. Gone out, so chance for 2 here. Should just about make it. No, it turned away.
Looks like 2.
Yeah.
Crawshaw,
2 it is.
2.
So Robert goes out to that patch of green that he seems to favour, Roy. He likes that area over there.
He hasn't gone as far this time with the jack. He's playing finger peg just to the left-hand side of the crown. As we've said before, it is a push-up this way. He's 4 foot short with that ball, and he's coming inside, I think. No, unlucky.
Oh, he's pushed the Crawshaw bowl to where Robert planned to put it in the first place. That's better. A lot of work to do for Andrew here.
Is he here?
Not going to arrive.
Crawshaw, 2.
There's a certain amount of frustration and anger being exhibited by Andrew Cairns, with himself, I have to say, with himself, which probably isn't a very good thing. He's letting that get to him, and ruffling his composure.
Yes, it is a hallmark of his game. Of course, he's only 22 years of age. I have watched him on several occasions. One occasion when he was in the semi-final of the Waterloo, and it is something that has developed in his game. I think probably, if there is a fault with his game, and it's, as I say, he's only young, he plays his second ball a bit too quickly. He's not quite sure what he needs to do.
Very narrow. Weight looks good though. Crawshaw. A useful flat green bowler as well as lawn, and it's one of the tricks of the trade that he picked up on flat green, getting what they call a wick.
Almost a chop and lie, that.
Watch, here we go again. Oh, he's knocked himself out, as Andrew this time, and he's left 2 on the green, and they are both grey, and that means 2 more for Crawshaw. Wow. I'm afraid Andrew is beating himself as much as Robert Crawshaw is beating him. I mean, Robert is bowling very, very well. Andrew is not really giving himself a real chance. Robert, a Cheshire county bowler, and Andrew, North Lancs and Fylde. Comes from Rossendale.
Andrew's gone the other way in here, Hugh. Gone thumb peg.
Thumb peg.
He's got a better length this time.
Sun shining beautifully here at Blackpool. Lovely morning, what, 11:45. And a lot more cracking bowling in the Bassmasters Classic here throughout the course of the day. Still plenty of room if you're in the Blackpool area and you want an afternoon in the sun, watching a great sport played by some great players. Why not come down and join us here at the Rex Hotel? Andrew Cairns, a careworn young man at the moment, but he has managed to pick up 2 on that end.
I think his only chance now at this stage of the game is to lengthen it. I feel that Robert, the only time that Robert struggles is when players take him in the corners, but he isn't doing it. He's actually bringing him down to the faster part of the green. He's still playing these shorter lengths, about 28 yards finger peg, and it's all downhill now.
Not a bad lead at all. Lay down flat when it got there. Good weight, lovely land, fine bowl. Andrew having a look at that one from close range. Unlucky son. So Robert is counting 18-10 at this precise moment of time. If he gets a single, gets another one to add to that single, he'll feel well pleased. But he's left that one on the mat.
Crawshaw, 1.
Poor ball. 18-10 though. Robert Crawshaw leaves. A pretty formidable task that young Andrew Cairns now faces. Andrew, who qualified for this tournament by winning the Bunbury Classic this year, taking out again a very, very experienced bowler, Alan Broadhurst, in the final. Absolutely destroyed him, 21-6. So that was a fine scalp.
Yes, I think, as I say, having watched Andrew, I think it's either a feast or a famine here. He's either absolutely brilliant or he's wayward.
Well, he's got plenty of years of bowls ahead of him. Only 22. Well bowled, Robert. He's holding 2. Here goes the banger again. The big hammer. Straight through the hole. So that 2 puts Robert Crawshaw within inches of a place in the second round. Andrew Cairns very, very slowly advances up to view at close range the fact that he's just dropped another 2. So, all but 10. Robert Crawshaw looking good for a second round place. In the previous matches in the Bass Classic, he's only failed to get past the first round once. That was in 1986 when Glyn Cookson beat him. Fair to say that Crawshaw could very well be one of those who will feature in the late stages of this tournament, Roy.
He was very strongly fancied at the start. A lot of people put money on him. Yes, and he was only 8-1 for the title.
Very nearly had the winner with that bowl, but Andrew is holding 1 here. So just again, he feels he might just have a chance. Ooh, good job he didn't touch the jack then, because if he had, he'd have given it away. 1 from Andrew Cairns. That was a dangerous bowl, Roy.
It certainly was, yes. He had to try it, but he was just overplayed, and I think this is the thing he should have been doing a long time ago. Going a long way. Going into the heavier part of the green now. Playing finger peg. About 38 yards into this corner. Don't get below the jack.
Yeah, he's got to believe the jack, and didn't really give the bias on the bowl a chance to work for him then. I think that's winning it at the moment, but not sure that's the sort of bowl you want to win a tournament. Little touch. Oh, what a lovely little bit of fat that was. Surely that would bring a smile to the face of Andrew Cairns. Yes, it did. Apologetic smile, I think.
Now see if Robert can strike.
And he's put a little running in that one. It's flying past.
Cairns, 1.
Well, it's been a long time since Andrew Cairns kept the block on the mat in his control for 2 ends in a row. Well, he's going a distance with this one.
Yes, this is a difficult mark, Hugh. He's playing thumb peg right over the crown of the green, and the jack is only just 5 feet on. But I think he's got quite a decent lead going here. No, it's shorter than I thought. It's 2 yards off.
It's underneath, but no, the blue ball I think is still closest of the two. Still an awful long way off, but this will be closer. Run another yard. That's about 2 foot, 2'6" from a distance of what, 46, 47, 48 yards. It's got some running in it. It's underneath though. Well, it's 1 for certain to Andrew Cairns. Yes, one it is.
One.
Well, 3 singles on the trot. Andrew goes back, thinking perhaps that he might just now have found a mark that he would have done well to exploit much earlier in the game.
Yes, he's playing finger peg here, right through the centre of the green. It's a very difficult peg, this is. It's all uphill. I think actually the other way in is the better peg. It's almost straight at the jack. But he's not too bad, about 5 feet off.
4 feet off.
Now, has that got the running? Not reaching.
You've look. That's why you're knocking. You've got to knock that a foot.
Yeah, he's going in the other way now. He's all right. He's gone through nicely, but oh, I think that's run way out. Now, Robert, can he win it with this bowl?
I think he's narrowed, Hugh. I don't think he'll count with that.
No way. No way.
Cairns, 2.
Cracky. 2. Well, a little run of 5 chalks since Andrew decided to use the big diagonal.
Yes, who knows what could have happened if he'd have tried this earlier, Hugh.
That's
but
right.
has he sent the jack off here?
Oh, he has. Yes, he has. Oh, Andrew. And his face tells the story. He's furious with himself. Oh, dear. Well, I wouldn't mind having a very strong bet that we shall not see Robert putting the ball anywhere near this corner.
Yes, this is one of Robert's favourite pieces on the green. Thumb peg, just cutting the crown, just underneath the crown, about 27 yards.
Now, Andrew, that's going to be a fair ball. Yeah, nothing much wrong with that. Robert, you set the jack. Can you find it? No. No, Andrew, it's a wasted opportunity. So Robert Crawshaw has the match-winning bowl in his hand. He thinks. Let's see. That's gone out. So
Cairns! One!
Andrew's got another one. Would you believe it? Just these two, when you look at them, you've got a little enlarged situation here, really, isn't you? Make up your mind which you think is the large one. Well, that's deep in the corner, Roy. That really is a distance.
Yes, that's finger peg, round peg. He's certain to reach with this bowl. That's a good lead.
Oh, what a lead! I tell you what, that's going to take some beating. Robert will be lucky to win the match on this.
Robert's gone the same way, but he's inside the line. He's going to narrow away.
You got Crawshaw he's getting a little bit worried about this.
But I think if Andrew counts this end, certainly danger signals will be looming for Robert, and he will begin to feel the pressure.
He won't be far away with this, you know. It's dropped shorter than I thought. That's gone out. It's two. It's two. Yep. Well, what a remarkable situation. 10-20. Andrew was behind at the end of what, 20 ends. And here at 26 ends, there's only 2 chalks in it.
And he's taken much more care with the placing of the jack on this occasion. There's no way he's going to send that jack off here. Playing about 42 yards, thumb peg. He's got the jack just a little bit round the corner. Mustn't get narrow here.
Now, Andrew, if you can count a couple on this end. Robert Crawshaw will be tearing his hair out. That's a fair lead, you know, from that distance. Robert Crawshaw then. The road looks good. What about the weight? Had to hit. When you think about it, Robert Crawshaw has been trying to win this game for, what, 8 to 10 ends? Now, Robert, have you got a winner this time? No, he slapped that mat against his hand. That's a mile away. Absolute country mile away. Well, we've got to come back and see this in a moment. We'll see the finish. Never anything like it. This young man, Andrew Cairns, was totally destroyed. He was losing. 20-10. And he hasn't stopped scoring since. 20-20.
It's a very difficult peg that he's going here, finger peg. But he's only about 5 feet off. If Robert doesn't change his peg, he's not sure to beat that ball.
Well, Robert, surely you've got to find one. He's underneath, well underneath. Well out.
All right, let's go.
Well, Robert Crawshaw has 1 ball left if he's going to win this match. Andrew Cairns is holding a match-winning line at the moment.
And Andrew will play the same peg, play finger peg, just try and promote his own bowl here, I think.
Where's this going to start? The road looks right. I tell you what, the road looks beautiful. What? Oh, the weight. Gone out. He wanted to put extra pressure, but Robert Crawshaw to stay. He's done it wrong. It's gone way, way out. Absolute dreadful ball. And the young man from Rossendale, Andrew Cairns, has won this match. Well, what about that? 11 shots in a row this boy has taken. 20-10 down he was. And he has picked it up 21-20. Amazing.
Well, if Brian Duncan's bowl to win his match was the bowl of the tournament so far, certainly the comeback of the tournament so far belongs to you, Andy. 20-10 down, staring defeat, well, into the jaws of it.
Yeah, well, I've spun him about on them short marks. He tends to put them close, and I got Jack. I thought, go as far as you can, because I know he struggles a little bit on him, but he didn't place well at finishing. I just pulled a few balls out.
You really had to keep concentrating. I mean, did you ever give up?
I never give up, but I think anybody that knows me know that I get a bit excited at times, and just had to calm myself down and keep going and try and play the right balls.
Those incredible firing shots of yours, they weren't particularly accurate today, were they?
No, I think they did me more harm than good. I don't know what's up with me with them. I just can't hit out at the minute.
I thought that was your only alternative at one point, was to hit Robert with one of them.
Yeah, I like him. I don't think I'd do that.
No, I know. Listen, we're going to have a word with you, Robert, and thanks for coming out, because I mean that must have been a pretty devastating experience.
Well, they say that games are never over until the 21, but I've seen Andy play. I know that he is a very good player on this green, and we're both still involved in the Talbot competition, and I know that he can get a little bit excitable, so I was trying to play a psychological game with him and try and rush him as fast as I could right throughout the game, because I know what a nervous experience he'll be having on TV for the first time, and I thought my plan had worked. When I was 20,
I think everyone did, Robert, to be honest, at 2010.
And at 2010, I thought I'd broken him, and I probably relaxed that little bit too much and lost my concentration myself. And Andy got hold of the jack, and then I couldn't do anything about it. Then I tried to pick myself up, but I just
I mean, I can't really put this kindly. You actually played some wretched bowls towards the end.
Probably a bit worse than that, Alton.
Fair comment.
Well, that's the way it goes. It's the same old story. The game's never over until you've got 21.
And another former champion out. I mean, it's extraordinary, isn't it, really?
Yes, it's been quite an incredible couple of days so far. Brian was very nearly on his way out, and he pulled a bowl and a half out there the last end. It's one of those weeks where, I think the bookies are being taken to the cleaners at the moment, if everyone's backing the outsiders.
Okay, thanks very much indeed. A last word with you, Andy. I was talking to Brian Duncan at one point when you were sort of way behind, and he said you've got as many chalks as the number of pints you consumed last night.
That sounds about right, yeah. I'm not sure when I'm playing tomorrow, but I'm supposed to be going to Burnley, first home game at season. I might have to miss that now. It'll be worth it for £200 though, I think. I
was going to say, I think you're better off here at the race, don't you?
Probably,
better off in Blackpool than Burnley. That would take some swallowing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, it was a nice consolation.